My home state of Oklahoma is the land of God, guns, and ganja. You heard that right. Oklahoma may be one of the most conservative places in the USA, the buckle of the Bible Belt. But it has some of the most liberal marijuana laws in the country and by far the most dispensaries of any state. In this video, we will look at how this conservative state has been overrun by the devil's lettuce, and the surprising reason so many people in Middle America have succumbed to Reefer Madness. In June 2018, Oklahomans voted in favor of State Question 788 to legalize medical marijuana. Mary Fallin, the conservative governor at the time, put the vote on the primary ballot in the summer versus the general election in the fall, thinking the lower turnout would doom the bill. Instead, turnout surged and it passed in a landslide. Since then, doobie dispensaries have sprouted like mushrooms after rain. Getting a business license in Oklahoma is remarkably cheap and easy. It only costs $2,500 for a permit compared to Colorado and California, where the total cost is in the six figures. No limits exist to how many dispensaries can be in a town or area. Municipalities cannot pass ordinances banning them, and it's legal to smoke Mary Jane anywhere tobacco is allowed, like bars, parks, or walking down the street. As a result, Oklahoma has over 2,200 dispensaries, by far the most in the country. By comparison, Colorado has about 1,000 dispensaries, and California has about 885. Oklahoma has 3 times the number of dispensaries as California, but 1/10 the population. My hometown of Woodward is the perfect example of the unexpected commingling of the religious right and those who smoke the righteous weed. In a town of 13,000 people, there are 18 churches and 9 dispensaries, one for every 1,000 adults. With so many churches and dispensaries in one place, there has to be a significant overlap between those who tote God's herb on Saturday and spend Sunday in God's house. You can see this crossbreeding of psychedelics and religion at the crossroads of the 2 main roads in Woodward, where someone put up the 10 Commandments, a T-Rex statue, and Jesus riding a Stegosaurus. That's trippy AF, even if you haven't been smoking the Magic Dragon. Here's what I find funny. These medical dispensaries across Oklahoma aren't pretending to look like pharmacies. They don't blend in, they aren't being discreet. On the main highway in Woodward, you'll find Shirley Jean's House of Dank, with a tube man dancing with flailing arms, red eyes, and the word marijuana written down his contorting body. Imagine the pearl clutching as the good folks of Woodward drive by that. What will the kids think? The Gold Leaf dispensary has an even better logo. I'm sure the gorilla smoking a blunt is doing so for medicinal purposes. And hey, check out this dispensary in Sapulpa. Nothing says quality healthcare like a devil's lettuce green Ferrari suspended from a crane. On historic Route 66, I came across a kaleidoscopic healthcare facility that gave me a contact high just by looking at it. In Pryor, Oklahoma, I saw THC, the Trippy Hippie Collective, sandwiched between an antique shop and a church. Question: in what order would you visit the antique shop, dispensary, and church for maximum enjoyment? Leave your answer in the comments. Getting a prescription for the laughing grass is even easier than starting a business. There's no list of conditions to meet, and it's up to the doctor to determine if it's needed. And let's just assume that anyone working at Nug MD or Docs of Cannabis will find a reason to prescribe the wisdom weed. The process of getting prescription takes a few minutes and can be done via Zoom call. As a result, over 400,000 Oklahomans, or 16% of the adult population, have a medical card, the highest per capita in the nation by far. Of course, the actual number of people smoking the oregano far exceeds the 400,000 with a medical card. In June, the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority published a study that estimates 1.4 million Oklahomans, or 47% of the adult population, has smoked the Jolly Green in the last year. This same study estimated that Oklahomans smoke an estimated 750,000 pounds of weed each year. That's the weight of 15,000 hay bales. At this rate, they're gonna have to rename this place Toklahoma. The flag already comes equipped with a peace pipe, a dream catcher, and some green bud. With so many salt-of-the-earth Okies puffing the joy smoke, there must be trouble keeping up with demand, right? False. According to the same study, the medical marijuana industry produces 32 times the amount of ganja necessary. Due to cheap land, abundant water, and low license fees, Oklahoma has become the epicenter of center-scale cultivation in the United States. There are over 7,000 legal cannabis growing operations in Oklahoma, but many more illegal operations. In the last 3 years, law enforcement closed down 800 illegal ganja farms, and over 3,000 are currently under investigation. According to the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, syndicates from China, Russia, Mexico, Bulgaria, and Armenia are in the Sooner State, pumping out enough ganja to supply the unlawful marijuana trade in Oklahoma and every other state in the country. In fact, Oklahoma is the #1 supplier of illicit skunk salad to the East Coast, which is ironic, since Holier Than Thou Oklahoma sued Colorado when they legalized the golden leaf in 2014, saying that Colorado would illegally export the Rocky Mountain High to Oklahoma. Since Oklahoma is now sending Satan spinach across the border and crime syndicates have infiltrated the state, perhaps our neighbors should build a big, beautiful wall around Oklahoma to prevent us from sending drugs, crime, and pothead Okies to other states. I've always been a libertarian regarding drugs, especially marijuana, arguing that society should tax the sales instead of chasing down people using a product safer than alcohol. A look at the gross sales and tax revenue gives some validity to this point. Oklahoma's total tax revenue is over $180 million a year for medical marijuana. That's a fact. I quadruple checked that for fear of being fake news. Sources are in the description below. Many Oklahomans, especially in rural areas, aren't so happy about the prevalence of sin spinach shops, and some politicians have talked about reform. But if anyone is serious about stopping the Reefer Madness that has overtaken the High Plains, there's a simple solution: ban country music. Outsiders might be surprised that the religious right in Oklahoma is religiously smoking the righteous bush, but I'm not surprised because I grew up listening to country music. A recent study showed that country music included more drug references than any other genre, and country music's drug of choice? Weed. Our parents warned us about listening to rap music and rock and roll, but they really should have worried about us listening to Merle Haggard, Linda Ronstadt, and Toby Keith. In between the ag report and church advertisements, this is what #RealAmerica is listening to on FM radio.
My baby loves me when I'm stoned. I might as well get stoned. Gonna lay in the hot sun and roll a big fat one and grab my guitar
and it's not just the rebel boys of country music singing about the family tradition of smoking pot. There's an awful lot of female singers that sing about the sweet, sweet Chiba as well.
Give me weed instead of roses, bring me whiskey instead of wine. Every puff, every shot, you're looking better all the time.
Even Casey Musgraves, sweet little Casey Musgraves, cranks out stoner anthems. She sang High Time at Farm Aid.
It's high time.
Country musicians sing about weed, cocaine, and meth more than rock stars and rappers. So obviously, the reason there are so many stoners in Middle America is due to country music. Conservatives have long drawn a straight line, from violent video games to school shootings, from rap music to gang violence. Using their infallible logic, we see that country music is turning the good folk of real America into zombified potheads. One thing is undeniable: medical marijuana is now a vital part of the economy. Many dispensaries occupy storefronts and otherwise run down main streets, employ locals, and contribute to the local tax base. Although jazz cabbage may not be addictive, the conservative government of Oklahoma will no doubt have a hard time letting go of $180 million in tax revenue if they were ever to criminalize the wacky tobacco again. For the foreseeable future, Oklahoma will be known as the High Plains for more than one reason.